What's the one thing that makes for a memorable experience? Service. Service is really what creates a memorable experience. If you go on a trip, if you go to a restaurant, even if you go to the dentist, the service that you receive is what creates the experience. And the same thing applies in real estate. Generally, the service that you receive, regardless of how the transaction unfolds, is what determines what your experience is like. Whether or not you want to give someone a 5-star review or a wish there was a way to give a negative star review, the service you receive is the catalyst for the experience. So in this video, I want to give you 7 questions that you can ask a realtor if you are looking for a realtor to help you buy a home. These 7 questions should help you weed out some people who are going to give a mediocre or crappy experience and hopefully lead you to a 5-star experience. But before we jump into the video, I'm Chris Nelson, the team lead of the Nelson Home Group, helping buyers and sellers achieve their real estate goals here in the greater Philadelphia area. And whether you're new to the channel or not, if you haven't already done so, go ahead and hit that red button and mash that bell while you're at it, because, well, not only does it make me feel good, believe it or not, it also helps YouTube determine who these videos should be sent to. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, I want to give you 7 questions that you can ask when you're interviewing a realtor. And if you are a buyer thinking about buying a home, which theoretically would make you a buyer, I have a free download for you that, well, it's our free buyer guide that you can download simply by visiting the comments, entering a little bit of information, and that buyer guide is yours. Now, on to the questions that I promised you, starting with question number 1. So question number 1 should be something along the lines of, what is your experience helping buyers in the market that you're planning to buy? So if you're in my market, you might say, Chris, what is your experience helping buyers in the Philadelphia area? And well, real estate is hyper local. So this is a very important question to ask, because you will find quickly that most realtors will tell you that they can help you buy or sell anything. And although they possess the license to do so, a lot of them lack the knowledge. So starting with identifying how well this person knows the market should help you identify whether or not this is a person that you should consider and potentially ask the second question. Now, the second question, believe it or not, is actually my favorite question. And that is, how many transactions have you done over the last 12 months? Now, the reason I like this question is because it shows experience. A lot of times we're programmed to ask, well, how long have you been in real estate? And I can tell you firsthand that I know a lot of people who are in real estate that don't sell real estate. They have a license and they report to an office, and I don't know what they do on a daily basis, but they're not selling homes. So I would say if you can find out how many homes a person has sold over the last 12 months, it's going to give you an idea of how experienced they are. And the reason I like asking within the last 12 months is because the market changes so quickly. And if they haven't been very active in the market in the last 12 months, you may not want to move on to the third question. Now, the third question you're going to ask is a little bit more specific to the types of loan or maybe down payment assistance or grant that you might be using. So the third question would go something along the lines of, Chris, out of curiosity, what is your experience working with buyers who are using FHA financing, but they're also using the K-Fit grant, which is a grant that is available to buyers here in the Pennsylvania area. Now, again, there could be some different situations. Maybe you're a veteran. Maybe you're buying a home in a USDA market, or a rural market, I should say, or maybe you're leveraging NACA, Neighborhood Assistance Corporation of America. All of these different mechanics require a different skill set or level of knowledge. And depending on how they answer that will determine whether or not you should be asking them the fourth question. Now, in the fourth question, you're actually going to find out whether or not this agent is a solo agent, meaning they work alone, whether they're on a team or a hybrid. Now, if they're on a team or a hybrid, the reason you want to pose these questions is because once things are set in motion, you really want to get an idea of, hey, am I going to hear just from you, or am I going to need to communicate with someone else? Or once we go under contract, do I get handed off to someone else? Different teams and different models have a different approach. So it's just good for you to know up front what that level of expectation is like, so that you're not confused or not enjoying the experience that you were hoping to have. Question number 5 is one that you would expect, but the question you want to ask is, do you have any clients that I can speak to, or maybe some testimonials or even reviews that I can look at? Now, it's pretty cut and dry. It's common sense as to why you would want to ask these questions. But as I said a second ago, a lot of the time people don't ask. Now, if you got a referral from a friend, I can understand why you may not ask that question. But if you're just meeting someone for the first time and you don't know this person at all, I think it's a great way to find out what other people thought about working with them. Because again, if they had a good experience, chances are you will too. Now, this next question is a hard question for some realtors to answer, which is why I like it. And the question is, what sets you apart from other realtors? People are going to blow smoke, but this is really where you're going to put someone on their toes and find out exactly, why should I hire you? What makes you any better than any of these people on the list? Or what makes you any better than someone who might be charging more or less to represent me? But at the end of the day, dialing in and finding out what that person thinks they're good at or why you should hire them is another question that I personally would ask, and I would hope you would too. And if you didn't pick up on what I said a second ago, which is when I said, why would I hire you when someone is either charging me more or less, the very last question that you should ask is, how much should I expect to pay you to represent me? Up until this year, this is a question that a lot of buyers just brushed under the rug because it was never properly explained to them. And if you're not aware, as of August 2024, across the country, agents are expected to conduct business differently. And the way that business is conducted has a lot to do with how an agent representing a buyer is compensated. Now, there's plenty of videos out there that talk about this. As a matter of fact, you probably have already watched a few if you are in the market to buy or even possibly sell a home. So I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole in this particular video, but I think it's important for you to ask that question up front before you even get to any paperwork, because, again, you want to have that question where you can talk about it and maybe try to negotiate what it is you're going to be paying. So there you have it, friends. Those are the 7 questions that I would highly encourage for you to ask any realtor you are interviewing if you're thinking about buying a home. And as I mentioned, if you made it this far, thank you. But as I mentioned, there is a buyer guide that is available for you for free. Simply download it right in the comment section of this video and let me know if you have any questions. You can also do that, oddly enough, in the comment section of this video. So once again, I'm Chris Nelson, the team lead of the Nelson Home Group, helping buyers and sellers achieve their real estate goals here in the greater Philadelphia. Until next time, take care.